We welcome in USC baseball coach Mark Kingston live on Sports Talk to talk about what's ahead for his team. And first of all, congratulations to you. Another regional trip for your program. How do you feel about this one?
We feel good. You know, it was a heck of a season. Had a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of challenges for having played such an incredibly tough schedule with 35 quad one opponents. You know, but when all is said and done, the goal is to get to the NCAA tournament and get yourself 5 wins from Omaha, and that's exactly where we are. So it's a new season. We're ready to get going.
Yeah. I mean, Chris and I were talking off air. I don't think anybody else in the country played a game against each of the top 7 national seeds. If somebody else did, I mean, we haven't researched it, but I got to believe that list would be very small. You played a game, at least one, against each of the top 7 national seeds.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I've never seen anything like it. I've never been a part of anything like it. I hope in future seasons, I hope we play good opponents, but I'd be fine if we don't have to play the top 7 as many games as we did, because it becomes quite grueling along the way. But again, and what I hope ends up happening is that we are now the most battle-tested team in the country, and as we now start the NCAA tournament, I'm hoping that it really pays off for us.
Absolutely. You know, you went 8-8 against the top 5 national seeds, 8-8 against the top 5 national seeds, Tennessee, Kentucky, A&M, North Carolina, Arkansas, which means, and you've said this, and you said it in Hoover, any given night, you can beat any of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, there's no question about it. You know, and we've also means you can lose to those teams as well. But
True.
When the best of the best square off, you know, it's going to be about a 50-50 proposition. That's why the best play the best, because you can win it or you can lose it. And we've going 500 against those top teams in the country. I think that means that we're one of the best as well. And I hope we go out and prove it next week. So
you went to Hoover SEC tournament, and I really think you became the darlings of the tournament, and Messina became the hero of the tournament. How he didn't get the MVP of the tournament or most outstanding player, whatever, is beyond me, I guess, because, you know, Tennessee won it and they gave it to a very fine player there. But how you overlook a guy who hit over 500 with 16 RBIs, 4 home runs, and a terrific on-base percentage is beyond me. But you get to the semifinals, you lose a heartbreaker to LSU, but you got momentum now. I mean, do you sense this team has got a ton of momentum going into regional play?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, again, momentum in baseball is still your next starting pitcher. Jim Leland said that for years. So we need to build on it. We need to make sure we play with the same emotion and passion that we did last week, because it was a lot of fun to be in that dugout. Because it felt like every inning we could have a big inning, and it felt like most of our pitchers were going out there and doing a good job. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that our infield defense was just not up to snuff, and we've got to correct that, and I think we will. And we were a good defense for the great majority of the year, but that reared its ugly head in Hoover. And had we played just our normal defense, I mean, we might have won the whole thing. So got to shore that up, but I think when it comes to momentum, we hit really well, scored a lot of runs, and I hope that continues.
USC head baseball coach Mark Kingston with us here tonight on Sports Talk. Gamecocks the number 2 seed in the Raleigh Regional, and they will square off on Friday against James Madison out of the Sun Belt. And, Coach, speaking of the errors, 12 errors, just really, I'm sure you're hoping, and most Gamecock fans are hoping, that was an anomaly and certainly not a thing, harbinger of things to come. How do you describe it? Because your team had played much better defense, going into a harder infield, different playing surface. What do you think may have led to some of those infield errors?
It was a very fast surface, and we don't normally play on fields that are having to deal with 4 games a day. And, you know, their grounds crew does a great job, and it's a great facility, but it's really hard to think that you're going to have a field in Founders Park condition when there's 4 games a day, when it's extremely hot and dry. It just lends itself to being a little bit more challenging, and it's not an excuse. You know, you got to make the plays, and other teams made all the plays that were there that they needed to make. We just didn't make the plays like we normally do. And you used the word anomaly. I think it was an anomaly, and I hope we play better defense this weekend, because if we do, like I said, the other areas of our game were very good.
Speaking of that, do you have an update on Gavin Casas and maybe his availability for you this weekend?
Yeah, it's not looking great. He's got an appointment in the morning with a specialist just to see if there's anything we can do. I'm not overly optimistic that he'll be available, and that's a big blow for us. Obviously, he had become one of our better hitters over the last month, I would say, and had kind of shored up that position over there. So it is a blow for us, and we're going to have to overcome it. And it's going to have to be next man up, and we're going to have to get good production, and both offensively and defensively at the third base spot in his absence.
What do you know about James Madison, the team you'll open up the regional with? They've got, it appears, a pretty good power hitter in Fenwick Trimble, a guy batting .371 on the season. But aside from him, what do you know about their club?
Yeah, they've got some power. They've hit over 80 homers. They steal a lot of bases. They stole over 100 bases. So they like to be aggressive. They bunt and run a lot. So it'll be a challenging offense to go against. Pitching wise, their ERA is about a 6, and I know their top 2 starters are left-handed pitchers, so I'm anticipating we'll see a lefty in the game we play them. So that's kind of have surface knowledge on them right now. My assistants are really digging into the details right now in terms of Matt Williams, our pitching coach, watching their hitters, and Monty looking at defensive positioning we're going to need to do, and Mike Current looking at how to attack their pitchers. So guys are all kind of taking different angles, and I'm looking at kind of the view from 20,000 feet. At this point, any team that gets in the NCAA tournament is dangerous. That's why the term Cinderella was brought into the NCAA basketball tournament. So you gotta make sure you're prepared and you're ready to go.
What are your plans with third base since you pulled Talmadge LeCroy in the game the other day, and you put Ellis in there? What are you thinking about third base as you go into this regional?
Well, we're gonna work out. We're gonna work out LeCroy there. We're gonna work out Ellis there. We're gonna work out Tyler Causey there, and then we'll make the decision based on who we feel will give us the best chance to win on Friday. Obviously, LeCroy has a lot of experience there, and has played a lot of games there, and helped us get to a super regional last year playing there. So, he's more than capable of doing it. He has done it, but it just has been in a little bit of a funk, and we need to help him get out of it.
Yeah. All right, last thing, we'll let you go. Of course, one of the big stories in the entire country was what happened in the 10th inning of the LSU game. Can you take us into your dugout at that moment? Because we don't know this. Like, who did you notice it yourself? Did one of your assistants bring it to your attention? Because you made the obviously proper decision to ask the umpires to review what was going on. How did that start inside your dugout?
Yeah, there were multiple people that kind of noticed it was a little off. L.T. Tolbert, our first base coach, our former shortstop, confirmed that he had not stepped off the rubber, which was a key element of that play. Cole Messina confirmed it from his vantage point. We could tell from the dugout that the catcher had gone out in front of home plate. And so there were a lot of different views. It was almost like the Zapruder film from JFK. A lot of different angles of people trying to figure out how do we put all this together. So finally, I just went out there and I said, hey, I'm going to go have a talk with the umpire. And it's not a reviewable play, but the key was we convinced him to go talk with the other guys and confirm that, because at the time I think the home plate umpire assumed he had stepped off or else he would have called something. Mm-hmm. And so I just wanted him to confirm with the other umpires that what they saw was that he had not stepped off, which made it an illegal play. So long story short, a lot of different people saw different things, and we put it all together, and then we went out there and asked for the umpires to confer. They did, and it went in our favor. So, it takes a village, as they say, and a lot of people contributing in different ways.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was a very smart move on your part because it was doomsday for you at that particular time until that happened. We thank
Coach,
you.
there are people that would tell you the Zapruder film has been altered, so just keep that in mind if you ever want to use that reference again.
Well, we can have a conspiracy talk on a different day. How about that?
Hey, we thank you as always. Appreciate the time. I know it's been a long day, but a good day, and we look forward to being there in Raleigh to cover you guys and see how things turn out. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, sir. Thank you. And one thing Coach Kingston told us today when he spoke with the media, he was asked the question, You know, some umpire had to step up in that group and say, yeah, I saw that. I saw that his leg was on the plate or he was in front of the plate and the pitcher was on the rubber. Why didn't that umpire say something right then and there? Why did it require a conference to take place? Can the umpires out in the field not step up and say, hey, I got something here?